Good morning, people. Can you guys see the beautiful flowers? This is actually Amanda's birthday flowers, but she didn't want to take them with her home. I was so lucky that I could keep them. I'm putting on my bracelets, by the way, because we are talking about very interesting things today. Most importantly, I'm speaking about something that I realized today, which is something I've been blind to, which it's a big thing for me to actually be, I don't know how to put this. It's a big thing for me to realize that I have kept myself away or have put something on myself. I can't find a word for it. By the way, we have latte. This is Newport's latte, so it's a meal replacement. I need that. So, where to start? A lot of you guys are going to be like, oh man, what is this about? Well, so it all started with me getting the tracker for Moon. I can feel that I'm getting emotional for some reason. What? Well, yeah. I will say, first of all, I record this also because I know this is something that's going to help a lot of you guys realizing what's holding you back in a way, or what is the cause of something. And I will say this, I will say this because it has something to do with tomorrow. It has something to do with the full moon in Scorpio. It has something to do with retrograde. Because as you guys know, tomorrow we have the full moon. We have the super full moon in Scorpio, and we have retrograde in Capricorn. And Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. It's going to get out of Pluto in 2024. That means that there has been a lot of significant events happening in your life since 2008. And I can say yes and amen for that. Your transformation probably begun at that stage, or at that, that year. The following years, there has just been a lot of things coming up that made you transform. And this year, tomorrow, is a big day where you release, you're supposed to, well, yeah, it depends on your journey, but we are releasing something that we have been carrying with us since we got born, or since 2008. And I would say, for me, yeah. So to get into it this is connected with Moon's tracker. But most importantly, it's connected with my mom passing away in January this year. And shortly after, I got that tracker, that GPS tracker from Moon. And I was very focused on not losing her. I was very focused on keeping tracks on her, having control, I can say, over where she is, like over her, don't ignore the elephant in the room. Having control over her, in a way. Another thing for me, I have Taurus somewhere in my chart. I think it's the 5th house, actually. Is it the 5th house? Now I'm taking my book. This is, by the way, the best astrology book, because I think I wrote it down. $15.15. Well, okay. Where is this? I didn't think that I had Taurus somewhere in my chart, but I do. Oh yeah. Oh, it's the 11th house. Oh yeah. In my 11th house, I have Taurus. Your 11th house is also connected with your friends. It's connected with people in your life that are helping you, teaching you. It's connected with people who you are teaching. Me having Taurus in that chart is interesting because I have a lot of Taurus people in my life. Amanda is a Taurus, Kiris is a Taurus, Moon is a Taurus. So I learned something from Amanda, Kiri, and Taurus. and Taurus. and Moon. They learned something from me. It's a part of what I'm explaining. That's why I'm explaining it. I'm trying to cut this down as much as I can, or cut it out as much as I can for people to understand it. So pay attention to what zodiac sign you have in your 11th house, because it's linked together with that. So Moon is a Taurus. That means that I'm learning things from her, which is so interesting because she did, come into my life last year very suddenly from the neighbors. You guys know the story. But I got the tracker for her, and ever since I have been very obsessed with always keeping track on her, always looking at where she is, and like it make it sounds again. It took over my life. It took a lot over my life. And the first time when I lost it, I remember that I was talking with Amanda. And I remember Amanda said to me, well, maybe she's not supposed to have it. Maybe she's not supposed to have that tracker. And I remember I got so pissed off because she said that. I was like, who are you to point stuff like that out? But the thing is, every time that there has been something where the tracker didn't, show where Moon was, because that the GPS obviously sometimes is not correct, I was stressing so much, and I was always worrying that something had happened to her. And I always heard Shiva, my spirit guide, in the background being like, relax, Sandra, she's fine, nothing will ever happen to her. So it's always been in the back of my mind. But then the first time you guys know, the tracker was lost. We never found it. But then I got a new tracker. And another thing that is a big part of this is that I did pay a lot of money to get the tracker and to get the 2-year plan to have the tracker. Which is also something like that I used as an excuse, that she needs to have it because that I paid a lot of money for it. Which, it's silly because that we are not focusing on material things anymore in this life with the Age of Aquarius. So, another thing which is interesting, because Taurus is all about finances, it's all about material things. But then Moon got a new tracker. But I will say in these, I think it was a week where Moon didn't have the tracker. I actually felt a relief because I didn't have to always put it on her and charge it. And, oh my God, it was a whole thing. So I felt this relief that I didn't have to do that I couldn't, actually, look at where she is all the time. And, she's always coming home, nothing ever happens to her. So again, my body, my spirit has always tried to give me signs about that. Yes, she doesn't need it. She doesn't. Then today, Moon comes home with a bloody ear, and the tracker is gone again. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh no, not again. And obviously, she lost it, at the same neighbor, the same place as last time. And when I try to look at where it is, it's still moving. Usually she's not having it on. I mentioned that last time too. It's so weird. But then I had this, I started thinking about, well, maybe she doesn't need it. Like, maybe it took control over me. And then I spoke to Amanda today. And Amanda told me that she actually talked to her mom about this, because she was worried about me, because it did, you know, she could see and sense that this tracker situation with Moon just took over. And she mentioned the fact that I got the tracker after my mom passed away. And I also got to the conclusion, well, I do have abandonment issues, which is a part of my Pluto placement, which is in Scorpio. And yes, Pluto is in Capricorn, but we have a full moon in Scorpio. So again, whatever is happening right now is something that's, you know, it's breaking the illusion of what needs to be broken. And for me, it is that I wanted to have control over Moon. I wanted to have control over, and it's something I do a lot, that I want to have control over situations, which is Scorpio in Pluto. And we have a Scorpio full moon. It all makes sense, right? And so Amanda's mom did tell Amanda, well, maybe that's what Sandra needs in her grieving, just to go through it. And Amanda was like, well, yeah, true, you know. So she didn't really talk with me about that, that she had a concern about it. And obviously it makes sense that I needed to realize it for myself. So I actually made the conclusion, I made the decision today that Moon doesn't need a tracker anymore. I don't know why I get emotional with that. That is so silly. Yeah. How silly is that? Well, it's not silly because that it's actually something that has, you know, I'm letting go of something that has controlled me. And I'm realizing that it's a part of my grief, I guess you can say. Because that I was afraid to lose Moon. Which is so silly because I will not lose her. You know, she's coming home all the time, and like Shiva always kept being like, she will come back, you know. And the thing is, I found out that Moon's tracker was gone at 4 in the morning because he wanted to get inside, because he's been outside fighting with the neighbors' cats. When I went to sleep again, I went into my hypnosis state and I asked Shiva, okay, what is the deal with all this? And I saw this forest, and Shiva pointed, you know, and she was smiling, and I saw this deer, and Shiva told me to go towards this deer and follow the deer. I can't remember what happened or what, you know, I got told, but the next thing I remember is that someone was laying tarot cards for me, and the 3 first tarot cards that I saw was the Hanged Man, the Lovers, and the Fool. 3 major arcanas. And I remember that I asked for clarification, and then whoever was laying the cards for me put cards on the top of the other cards. So then this being, I think it was a being, it could also have been my higher self, put the Empress on top of the Hanged Man, the 6 of Wands on top of the Lovers, and the Star on top of the Fool. That is the card that I got. I just listened to my recording because I knew that I would forget it. So before I fell asleep again, I recorded what I saw. And, you know, I couldn't really make sense of why I got it. And today, well, now I was shuffling the deck, so I can't remember that. But today, after talking with Amanda, I was like, damn, that makes sense, because the Hanged Man is all about letting go of old belief systems, and it's also about that sometimes we need to feel a disease, or we need to, well, control is a disease, right? Because it's been holding me back. We need to feel something so that we can realize and we can heal it. So I did that, and I don't, you know, care about the money lost, because it's just how it is. So that is the moral of the story. That is the teaching of today that I wanted to share with you guys, because it is very important for the full moon, the super full moon in Scorpio, the pink moon, which is actually very saying with the pink flowers that I have here. Yeah, so I will just get this reading up for you guys, but I hope that it's food for thought. Is that how you say it? Thought for food? No, food for thought. I actually also feel that it has something to do, all this control has something to do with me overeating. So I feel that I broke a chain that has been with me since I got born. So it's actually interesting. Also because I was thinking about this, like, well, why did I actually buy the tracker? But thinking back on it, if I did not buy the tracker, I would not have been sitting here today realizing that I have a control issue. Or yeah, that I have control issues and that I have this abandonment that I needed to heal. So it shows that the universe puts things into our life that doesn't make sense in the moment, but that will make sense at some point. But it means that we need to dig deep and listen to other people if they say something. Like the first time Amanda said, well, maybe she doesn't need a tracker, and me just being, you know, mad at her for saying the truth or her truth. That was the truth, but at that moment I didn't want to see that. So there's a big lesson in this, and I'm very, very happy and grateful that I came to this conclusion and that I have now released it. And I am proud of myself for doing that. And I have had a hard time in the past being proud of myself for doing stuff or realizing things. So it's a big thing. And I hope that you guys, with this, can realize something that you need to let go with this full moon. And sometimes we need to be tough with ourselves. Because obviously, to say to yourself, oh, I have a control issue, is something not many people will reveal or will, you know, like confess, can I say that? That, oh yeah, maybe I do have that. Because I, also with relationship, it makes sense that I'm manifesting my soulmate now that I let it go of control. Because I have had this, like everyone who's been coming into my life, I'm so desperately afraid that I'm going to lose them in a way. And there's just so many things with this I could continue. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. Now I'm going to film daily readings, so look forward to tomorrow's full moon daily reading and all the other magical readings. And again, the video I did for Patreon is only for Patreon. There was a comment about if I could make videos like that on YouTube. I have a playlist that I will link up here with mindfulness videos, but I create special readings or special videos on Patreons because people support me so much on there. It means so much because I can be a little bit more free with actually creating content and doing what I actually love to do. And in the future, I do want to make a mindfulness course where I really teach you guys the things that I have learned, especially this, like, that you are divine and that the 10% of your 3D self is sometimes taking control, and you actually have 90% that is your higher self that you're manifesting with. Another thing that a lovely viewer, I'm going to link her channel up here, pointed out that I need to make a course where I teach you guys about YouTube and about photography and filming, because obviously I've been working with that for over 10 years. And I love doing photography, I love doing filming, you know, with the lighting, with like being in front of the camera, how you can be as natural as you can possibly be. So that is also something that's going to, you know, come up at some point. I don't know if that one is going to be linked together with Patreon, but I will see. But I think I have been rambling for enough. Thank you guys for being a part of this. If you are in need of a private reading, healing session, or removal of blocks, some information is down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and I would love to hear your opinion on what we spoke today. But I will talk to you guys tomorrow in the daily full moon magical reading. Bye!
drive.